Hey YouTube, Shukun Shinobi here with a review of the SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Ryuki and Drag Rider set, the first of the Ryuki Figuarts being released. So here we have the box. Pretty much a typical Figuarts box is very, very elongated, and there's my lights in the background. Red, chromey letters, and you can pretty much just see everything else. The back shows off all of the different vents and all of that fun stuff. So really nice box. Gonna set that aside because, well, this shit takes up a lot of space. Because here we have Drag Rider. Ooh, Drag Rider. So Drag Rider is all sorts of awesome, to say the least. Very, very cool, but we'll get to him after we get a look at Ryuki. So he'll just hang out back here and push my background away. So here's Ryuki. He is very, very well done and a very, very solid figure. No loose joints or anything of the sort. Very, very solid. His joints actually do blend really, really well. Still full range of articulation, but they retain kind of like the look of the Figma in terms of hiding the suit design and everything. Not to mention that these do use the same hip joints that Ixa and stuff use, and I've already explained that I really love these hip joints quite a bit. Shoulders are pretty much the new shoulder style that a lot of the Figuarts are being released with, which is pretty good. I have no complaints with them or anything. They hide the joints pretty well as well, so. Shoulder pads don't move at all. They are pretty much stuck, which is perfectly fine. And as you can see, everything is very, very top-notch. Here is the head sculpt. Very nice. The eyes are compound back there. In good lighting, you can see them very well. In poor lighting, as you can see when I cover it up, they are kind of difficult to see. But other than that, they do look really, really nice, I think. And lots of movement in the neck and stuff as well. And there is the back. Overall, I think they did an absolutely fantastic job with this figure. Since I know people want it, let me pop him off of his stand. And here is Figma, Dragon Knight, rather, not Ryuki. Dragon Knight. So let's kind of get him situated and straightened out. As you can see, the Figma is indeed quite a bit shorter than the Figuarts by about a head or so. I would say these are closer to 5.56 inches, where these are pretty much just typical 5 inches. I like the Figma's suit design. I really like the rubber groin area because it does hide the joint entirely and look a lot like the suit. The Figuart did a really good job of taking joints that they've used before and making them quite hidden. So I do give them props for that. The deck is a lot better on the Figuart, obviously. The drag visor is a lot better on the Figuart. I'll get to that later when I actually attach it. But outside of that, the body is generally the same, and the feet on this one are die-cast. He does have full die-cast feet, despite the prototype being the feet that was on New Den-O. But head sculpt, I'll leave that for you to judge. Personally, well, his head is smaller, so it actually looks a little bit more accurate. But personally, I like the Figuart more. The compound eyes do it for me. His eyes always bothered me. I don't know why. They're just so bulky and noticeable. Whereas Ryuki's eyes were always there and were always visible, but sometimes they did hide fairly well. Plus, these don't move. His arm doesn't fall apart. I love the Figma, don't get me wrong, but I think I really like the Figuart quite a bit more. So, one thing this guy does have is a removable advent deck. So you just slide that out. It is very tiny. It doesn't hold cards or anything like that. But everything is sculpted in instead of tampoed on. So you've got a nice sculpted Drag Rider symbol and stuff on the deck, which is very nice. And that just slides right back in. And I think that is about all for Ryuki himself. So, like I said, he does come with the drag visor right here. This moves to allow some hand articulation. Overall, it just looks very, very, very nice. This does slide down, just like in the show, so he can input a card. Now, naturally, this does come with some cards. So we'll take a look at those now. It comes with 5 of these little guys. So this is very hard to see because I'm covering my main light source. Strike Vent. Advent. These are very hard to see, and I apologize for that. There really isn't too much I can do about it. Sword Vent. Guard Vent is right here. And Final Vent right here. So those are really cool. You can just take these and slide them right in there. They just kind of fall into place, and then you can go Final Bento and stuff. To get them out, you basically just tip it over, and it will fall out. Don't cram more than 1 card in there, because then they get stuck, and then you're forced to sit there and bash against your desk until they fall out, or go upstairs and find pliers to get them out. And it's not a fun experience, so I wouldn't advise doing that. So to attach this to his arm, basically what you're going to do is pop off this little cap. I forgot what they were called exactly. I thought they were something caps. But, then take out one of these hands. I honestly have no idea which hand. I think it's this one. Except I need the other one. So I think it's this one. It's a closed fisted hand. That's probably for, Sword Vent, rather. That's actually a card holding hand, I think. No, that's a card holding hand. There's all these hands, and I honestly have no idea which ones they're for. Like, it's like, weapon holding hand, we have 2 of them. I'm like, okay, why do you have 2 weapon holding hands? One slightly curved? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go with this one, just because. So, let's weasel it in there, flip that around, take off this hand as per normal. Pop this hand in, around, and that hole right there will just take this peg and pop it right in. It is a little bit loose, but your mileage may vary as far as that's concerned. So now he's got the drag visor on, like he should, always. And he's good to go. So he's also got a lot of other little accessories. He does have a lot of hands, like I said. I'm not going to change any more hands quite just yet, just fall down. So he's got these kind of holding hands. This actually, that's his punching hand. I'm just stupid. He's got card holding hands, like this one. So you just take the card and insert it between his fingers. Card holding hand. DK had some of those. Weapon holding. Molester hands. Kind of relaxed pose hands. Some more weapon holding hands. There's a weapon holding hand and then one on a slight curve. It's really kind of silly. But we'll keep this one out because I will need it. So obviously he does have more vents than just this. He has Strike Vent. All the rest of the vents are made up of pieces from Drag Rider. So except for Strike Vent, because if you compare the heads, you will notice that Drag Rider's head is quite a bit larger than Strike Vent. So, that aside, what you're going to do is pop off the hand, just like normal. So nothing really too new. And slide the entire hand joint through here. Do you need to take off the cap? No, you don't. Now the instructions show you taking off this piece, which I suppose you can do. Find it easier just to go like that. I don't know, he had that piece, right? Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. And so the hand joint is going to go right in that hole, and then the other peg is going to go in that hole. So line those up best you can, which was probably not that well. But anyway, I'm not going to waste your time, but that pegs right in there through the hand joint with some nice finickiness, and you have strike event. And here he is. First thing to note is the fact that he has a stand. There's a custom stand, Master Rider Ryuki. It looks exactly like the Advent deck, except clear and red. And it has 3 peg posts, so you can fit Drag Rider on here in this pose. Really, really awesome looking, by the way. I opened him the night that I got him and then posed him like this, and he hasn't moved since, so yeah. Let's take him off the stand, as traumatizing as this will be, but it took a while to actually get him in this position. So let's take him off. Just set the stand aside for now. And he is entirely movable. All of these pieces are in 100% movable. The sword can rotate around depending on how you need it to go. And then here's where things get tricky, because I kind of forget where things go on this guy. I think his body goes around like this. He was in a curl, kind of like this in the package. He comes in like a little coil shape. But these can move around depending on how you need them placed and where you need the joints. Nothing is really more correct than the other. But lots of posability. Lots and lots of posability. Each of these are individually connected. It is a slight remold from the Rider and Monster series. It's bigger, but it's ideally the same kind of concept. So his jaw opens and closes. That's always nice. There's his head sculpt. Also very nice. And as you can see from the reflections of the light, he is a nice metallic red. Very gorgeous. Going down the side, all of the legs are on these little ball swivels, and then a swivel down here. So these are all entirely maneuverable. There we go. And like I said, the guard vent and the sword vent come from him, so you just pull these off. This one already fell off. And then pull that one off. I'm just going to keep that one on, just to show you how the guard vent works. I only need one. And the sword just pops right off. It's just attached via the cap. So let's just set him down somewhere over here. He can just chill out here. That's fine. So sword vent obviously is very easy. You just take his fist and plug in the sword. Except these fists are kind of on the tighter side of things, and I just popped his cap off, which is fine. But yeah, I'm not going to waste the time. But sword goes in the hand, and then he's all like, hey, I got a sword. So the real gem is the guard vent, because it works in a way that's actually practical. As opposed to the Figma, where you had to dismantle the entire arm, or some crazy crap like that. So, as you know, there's multiple different ways that these work. He can hold them and have a holding guard vent, or he can have them on his shoulder for a shoulder-mounted guard vent. This figure can do both. And I'm talking slowly because I'm trying to put this cap back on, and it's not working in the slightest. Okay, that cap's being a complete douche, so it might fall out again later. But anyway, the upper shoulder mounted portion is very easy to do. You just pop this cap off, which I've never pulled off before, so it's kind of stuck in there pretty well. And now I'm not going to be able to get it back on when I do get it off, because that's just how things work for me. Okay. So you just take this, and as you can see, this cap shape right here, just pop that right where the cap was, if you can find it. Very easier said than done. Very easier. I'm just full of the grammars today. There we go. So there is his shoulder mounted guard vent, which looks really, really cool. Very nice. I like that. And his hand mounted one is also very easy to do. Pop that off. Basically all you're going to do is pop the cap piece off, just like that. Set that aside. Replace it with these little handle ones. And then just take the same holding hands, and like I said, that cap's going to fall off again, so I'll just pop that off. Take the same Impossible to get into the grip holding hands. And there you go. So now he's got the hand-mounted vents, or guard vents rather. So he is good to go for that too. And then these are maneuverable, so you can just put them wherever you want them to be. And you're good to go. So those are all of his vents. And just another quick look at the stand. Like I said, very difficult to set up. And lots of pieces on this guy. In fact, there's pieces everywhere, and I'm kind of flustered. So let me pause for a moment, get everything back situated, and we'll wrap this up. Alright, so there's some flaws with the figure. For one, these things are near impossible to get back on Drag Raider, at least on mine. I have been struggling for the past 20 minutes to try to get it back on, and it completely failed in all aspects. That is kind of difficult to do. It might just be mine, your mileage may vary. But other than that, I honestly feel like this is one of the best figure art releases to date. There's just so many pros. For one, you get Drag Raider and Ryuki in a set for probably about the price of one of the more expensive figure arts like Garo or Wild Tiger. So you're getting quite a bit for your money with this pack. Drag Raider looks absolutely gorgeous in the metallic red. And there's so much posability and detail put into it that it's absolutely fantastic on display. Ryuki, they basically looked at Max Factory and said, hey, you know what? Screw you guys. We'll do this better. And I honestly feel like they pulled that off. There are some things I do like about the Figma more. Like I like the suit aesthetic a little bit more than the figure arts approach. But outside of that, the posability is retained. Everything is top notch on this figure art. Tight joints, amazing sculpt, die-cast feet, compound eyes, removable advent deck, lots of cards, movable drag visor. They did everything they could possibly do to make this figure a bang for your buck, and they certainly did. If you're a fan of Ryuki, by all means, pick this up, please. If you're a fan of Dragon Knight, then by all means, pick this up, please. As much as I do like the Figmas, regardless of whether you're representing it as Ryuki or as Dragon Knight, this is definitely the way to go. Love the figure, definitely recommend it. So you can check out a written review at ridersrangersandrebels.com. Discuss it at the RAM boards at ridersrangersandrebels.com/forums. And of course, you can visit shukenshinobi.com for all the latest updates on my reviews. So take care and have a great one. Bye.